Welcome, dear Dharma brothers and sisters, to our weekly Dharma talk with Khenpo Tenzin about taking difficulties on the path. We will begin our discussion with opening prayers in our yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute prayer book, starting on page 1. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and in the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of infinite oceans of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all the beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine, by offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping. Completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and concepts of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial, the supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Deva Dakini Ratna Mandala Pratishta Swaha. Namo. To the Guru, the utter purity of all appearance and existence, I offer all appearance and existence arisen as the primordial ground. I supplicate you, may the three realms be completely liberated. Please grant blessings to empty samsara from its depths. Lord with five omniscient wisdoms, crown ornament, kind one with loving nature, precious protector of beings, heart of all Buddhas, inexpressible by words or thought, I supplicate you from the core of my mind. Bless me from within the state of Dharmata. Bless me to realize this mind primordially pure and unborn as the unfathomable Dharmakaya. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the greater and lesser vehicles and the teachings common to both according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Many Tashidele Dharma friends. Today, our topic is taking difficulties as the path. I preferred this topic because since we reborn in this samsara, we all have different difficulties. Sometimes we have difficulties of different disease. Sometimes we have difficulties to accomplish our wishes. There are almost countless of suffering. Another name is difficulties. But what we have and what we want is totally different. What we want is happiness, and what we have is difficulties. So this is opposite. And then until now, we effort to liberate from these difficulties. But what we did is external. We try to avoid these difficulty things through external things, like material things. And then we experienced only external things cannot help to liberate from difficulty situations. And then we created many internal knowledge to liberate from difficulty situations. Dharma and other religions are including internal knowledge. All of these things are for the sake of liberation. And then, according to the some karmas, someone not yet practitioner, some not yet practitioners, some became practitioners. So now it is related Buddhism, Buddha Dharma. So if I'm talking about our Buddhist, in Buddhism we have many practitioners, many Dharma practitioners, many Dharma learners, many meditators. Dharma learners' main purpose is achieving happiness or liberate from suffering. Meditators, same. They are meditate in mountainside, or they meditate in area of mountainside, or they are meditating in the heart, or they are meditating in temple or one's room, wherever. Same wish to liberate from suffering. And then, but still we are facing problems. If you close your mind, the eyes, and think by yourself, do you have facing problems or not? For sure, yes. We all. Okay, we have now, we don't have facing problems about food, maybe. No problems about water and some drink. But still, there are. Even though each and every one has a small wish. So they are running for that. And then by that way, there is some obstacles. So everybody, every living beings, I mean, especially means right now we are talking about Dharma practitioners. But then, the way of Dharma practice, for instance, right now we are Dharma practitioners, and we have still many obstacles. These are difficulties. So, how to conquer these difficulty things? So, Dharma is internal knowledge, internal realization, inner realization. That's where we are going to use our wisdom to purify those difficulty situations. If we cannot purify completely, but we can reduce the way of thinking. So that's where, then how to do it? If you close your eyes and thinking by yourself, do I am I have any difficulties? If yes, Then I think today's topic is related. Even though I try to offer some method to liberate the liberation of from these difficulties, if my method does not work, does not help you directly, but at the same time you think by yourself, and you will get some new method, and then you use that, and then when you have facing problems, it will help you. So then the today's topic is taking difficulties as the path. So first we should take difficulties as the path, just as the Buddha did. Okay, so Buddha, who is Buddha? Usually we say our nature of mind is Buddha, right? This is the an ultimate level. That is true, but the way to achieve that realization, we are going to process in the relative truth. So in the relative truth, Buddha means Shakyamuni Buddha. We are sentient beings. So Shakyamuni Buddha, who came in India 2600 years ago, he was prince. His father was king. His mother was queen. His father's wish, Shakyamuni Buddha, at that time he wasn't Buddha. His name I forgot. Siddhartha, thank you. Siddhartha would be king. So since when we heard Buddha and we imagine a little bit about that, it seems he has no any difficulties. It seems he is a person who is always happy. But that is not true in the reality of relative truth. But he was smart since before he became enlightened, because he took difficulties as the path. This everybody knows that his biggest challenge, for example, challenging is Devadatta, who's causing, right? And this is because of jealous. Devadatta was jealous person. So then he created lots of harmful things, actions towards Buddha, Siddhartha. So you see, if you stay with a person who is full of jealous, whose mind is full of jealous, and then day in and almost day in and day night creates harmful actions, how much difficult to being patient. And even though Buddha, his father was king, So kingdom, it does not mean always strong and powerful. In the kingdom has a lot of difficulty things. Because they have competitions with other kingdoms. They are fight each others, and they are worried they lose their positions even though inside of their kingdom. So they have a lots of difficulties. Right now we are not parents and princes, but we have same these difficulties. Someone has challenging of food and drink and the clothes and so on. Someone has challenging about different ways. Everybody has that. So then, if we cannot liberate entirely from these difficulties, but we can reduce these things, these difficulty things. Okay, until today you didn't have any difficulties. It's good. That means you have a great karma, but we will not sure what will happen tomorrow. Hours later, we're not sure. So if kind of some difficulty situation arise in our mind or appears from outside, then what will we do? So taking difficulties means not always the fight with the difficulty situations. Taking difficulties means you should be smart. You should be holy person. So that means when somebody, for instance, if somebody creates harmful actions towards you, at that time, if you reply this through angry emotion, that means you are not smart. So that means you did not practice the taking difficulties as the path. So why I bring this example, the Siddhartha and about these things here, because Devadatta created harmful actions towards Buddha, but Buddha accepted them, right? So sometimes we say, oh, Buddha just he left it from his kingdom and he went to the forest, he meditated, and then he improved his realizations, everything. This is what we learned from his story. But the reality is, since he was kingdom, he conquers his anger emotion. He conquers his lust. He conquers his jealousy and so on. So, for that reasons, the sufferings cannot challenge him. If a regular person got like that sufferings, that challenges, maybe they were suicide. Maybe they decided to be suicide. So when we accept some problems, difficulty situations, accept means when we use them the way of our dharma wisdom, and then they will become cause of our practice. So then, when Buddha he meditated under the trees in the mountainside, in the hot sun, under the hot sun, in the water, without food. So he efforted the Dharma practice. That means he taking difficulties as the path. So, for instance, right now we are Dharma practitioner. We are Dharma practitioners. At that moment, if we don't have external difficulties, but internal, there are different difficulties. Sometimes physically or mentally sick and something like that. Or today I'm sick, so I can't practice. Yeah, it often occurs like that, including all of us. I say, oh, today my headache, right? My headache, so I can't practice. So that means we cannot taking difficulties as the path. Buddha did not say that. And then Buddha stay under the tree. He has no food, no the water. He did not say, I'm thirsty, so much thirsty, that's why I can't practice. I couldn't practice. He did not say that. And he did not say, I'm so much hungry, so I cannot meditate. He did not say it like that. He did not say that. So then every time the difficulties are not being same, but in the different ways, we remember Buddha's the hardship or Buddha's efforts and tolerance. Tolerance, it does not mean always with people. We should be tolerant with the situations, external situations and internal situations. Already we are going to be alert. Whether we become practitioners, Dharma practitioners or not, it's well possible many difficulty things occur. This is the number one. And when it real occurs, these difficulty situations, and then we should remember, already I thought kind of this situation will occur, so right now it is. And then we can be relaxed. This is very important. If before we have nothing preparations or kind of these experiences, and then real some situation coming in suddenly, it's like then shocked, surprised, unbelievable, and then finally goes wrong decision, really. Especially when we are angry strongly at that moment, if we decide something, it's almost 100% sure, for sure, we make wrong decision. Even though you are friends, two friends being together, right? In some case, something happened at that moment. If you decide something, and then later will be regret. It's very possible. So the Dharma practice means Dharma means like a space. So then our mind is very flexible. Our mind is not solid. Our mind is vast than this space. So often we said practice bodhicitta, practice bodhicitta. It means welfare other beings, number one, but it means benefit for yourself, which means you open your mind more vast than this space, more deeper than ocean. And then in this space today, the pretty windy and sunny. Sometimes the winter storm comes. Sometimes the rain comes. Sometimes a rainbow appears. The weather is always, the space is always relax. Similarly, we can do. Our mind is right now. It seems it's right now we are very much sensitive. Why? Because of grasping. So grasping does not allow the taking difficulties as the path. So Buddha could do it because he reduced his grasping. I is always actually illusion. It's really very interesting in the phone. The what is it? It's called maybe, yeah, or message test. We say I. Never appears that it's interdependent. How to say independently. Does not appear. Sometimes I am, or sometimes IH or something appears. First, I thought that my pronunciation was wrong, but it's not. Then I think I thought a few more times about that. It's pretty interesting, really. So I is illusory. So I make very small rooms in our mind. I divide. And so if we reduce I or egoistic mind, and then these external difficulties, internal difficulties, for example, external difficulties are very easy to invite. Invite means there are different ways. Sometimes invite, it does not mean I need them. That means you dissolve them in your mind. You dissolve in your mind, then they will not be anywhere. So any times we try to taking difficulties as the path, that means reduce our problems, our sufferings, our difficulties. If we can't, yeah, of course, Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha is, the 1,000 times he accumulated virtues and he reduced non-virtues. So we are ordinary life. We are lives. We are ordinary sentient beings. That's why we cannot do it like that. Okay, then we should take difficulties as the path, just as the spiritual teachers do. So it's related to the Gypsy Malarepa, and it is related the Gambopa and all, not only Kaju masters. Spiritual teachers, they not just came happily and remain happily and liberated happily. They are not like that. They have lots of facing problems. Actually, we all same human beings. Spiritual teachers are human being. We are human being. Still, we are more knowledgeable, the modern knowledgeable than the spiritual teachers. But the problem is we have less Dharma knowledge. Spiritual teachers, they have such a wonderful Dharma knowledge. Malarepa, Yogi Malarepa, sometimes you read about these masters' stories. Really, it will help. It's not only help you, it helps you, and then you share that with your friends, and then one by one you share, they share, and then it benefits just flow like rivers in the people's mind. So, for instance, Yogi Malarepa, the way of his listening Dharma, practicing Dharma, receiving, even though he has such a how to say difficulty facing problems, which is everybody knows. We don't have that, but he has that. What is that? Marpa did not give him the Dharma, really. Other the disciples easily receive Dharma teachings, but Malarepa did not get easily. That's where Marpa's concert decided to Malarepa let go, because Marpa always punished to Malarepa and let him build many means build the building, and then Marpa did not give him Dharma. So then Marpa's concert shows the action of upside and give him some food, and now it is better to leave. So sometimes we read Marpa's story, Malarepa's story, we are a little bit the angry towards Marpa, and then noticed, oh my goodness, Malarepa, he really experienced that, but he did not angry and he did not upside. But I just read upside towards Marpa, and then my angry, how much mislead my angry emotion. Then I can judge it by myself. So Malarepa has every facing problems. First, his family has facing problems. For instance, right now, if your family has some facing problems, what should you think? If you close your eyes and then figure them out. Sometimes Malarepa is object of compassion. Really, when he was being with his family, how much? And then the Malarepa, his entire life has lots of challenges, but finally he became enlightened. He did not become crazy. He did not suicide himself, right? So, and then Gampopa also has lots of facing problems. His son died and something like that. They have lots of stories if you read. And then many the spiritual teachers, they have difficulties, even though when they are Dharma practice, they have lots of the realization, the Dharma realization in our mind is perhaps it is very easy, because we don't want to make by our hand and we don't want to buy that with the billions of dollars. But we Perhaps this is a very difficult, right? So, but through that way, many spiritual masters has facing problems, and but taking they were taking difficulties as the path. So we should do like that. For instance, in the daily life, there's some cause of anger emotion occur, uh, and then we should think, um, oh no, I'm in the dharma practice, so I don't want to be how to say spoiled, or I don't want to be familiar like an angry person. I don't want to be short temper. If the path of dharma practice you become short temper, and then you go back in the society, then for sure they will then you get many conditions to increase angry emotion, and then jealousy too. If you remain in the dharma practice, uh, and then you create lots of jealousy, and then you go back in the society, then you have many conditions to utilize this jealousy, and then you cannot control your jealousy, but your jealousy controls you. When your jealousy controls you, it's really difficult things. If you don't have this experience, that's wonderful. You don't how to say you should not experience the, the jealousy action is what kind of this. When you arise this jealousy, 100% sure you are unhappy. So jealous person is unhappiness person. And then another problem is you create harmful actions to others. Jealousy, you don't say I need it, but you says people don't need it. If people has a good thing, you start to harm from different directions. You have small power. You have not big power. You utilize very small power and you harm to others, right? And then if you believe karma, then result that karmic result never leave you alone. It will occur sooner or later. So the we have mm, if we have kind of this uh, the jealousy and emotion, and then we automatically create a lot of bad karma, and then we say we try to the take difficulties as the path. It's not easy, really not easy. So the uh, we the learning from spiritual teachers of like Malarepa, and then our own gurus and so on, and learn, and then we put it into the action. When we learn from spiritual teachers, means not always like some dharma vocabularies, not always learning only dharma definitions, we learn gurus, the histories, the spiritual teachers kind of histories, what how they uh, did efforts, and how what kind of facing problems occurred in their life, and then how they purify, how they accept, you know. And then if we don't have that much interesting or some uh, uh, knowledge to learn about spiritual teachers stories and something like that, and then we should take difficulties as the path, just as our parents done. We no, we all can speak, talk, eat because of our parents. For instance, first I talk about mother, right? Mother took us in their womb over the 9 months, and then what, after they gave birth, or gave birth, right? And then they did not say, I took for 9 months, right now you take care of me, you pay me. They did not say, mothers did not say, and still they uh, keeps in their arms, and then they gave us milk, and then they teach, they take care of us. So all of us comes from our mom, our mothers. So they, that means when they took us in their womb for 9 months, this was not easy for them. Seems it was easy because they accept that, since they have baby in their womb, and then they took her, even though they if they have some very some favorite food, and then they stop to eat. If they are very much thirsty, they stop to drink some part of liquid for saving us. They thinking us. So they accept. And then our fathers, they works day in and night, and they save money, and then they spend their money for our school fees. They buy food for us, they buy clothes for us, and they buy house for us. So all of these things, they seems they work, seems means they work voluntarily, right? Voluntarily. That means they accept. They can give us their money, they can spend their time day and night for us, but they cannot give to others any one mobile phone. They cannot give, but they can give us like a house, and they can give us car and so on. Why? Because they cannot give a single mobile phone to other people. That means they cannot accept that. But they can give us a house and cars. This means they accepted it. They could accept that. They can accept that. So the any difficulty situations occur, we first we have to think a little bit about uh, mm, these situations occurs with whom. It can't. It's same situation occurred in Buddha's life, in spiritual teacher's life, in our parents' life. So then, when we have uh, happened like these situations, and then we utilize them in the Dharma path. But it's not easy. I understand. As I say, when I say it is pretty easy, but real that's happened is not easy. But we training practice step by step, and then slowly we become familiar. We become familiar, and then it will become uh, uh, very easy. It will become very easy. So in the our daily life, everything will be possible. So we should take uh, the way of Dharma practice. Oh, it is possible. Something like that. And then if we are pretty the higher practitioners, and then we uh, observe the nature of these things. For example, if you heard some harsh words from your friends or from your colleagues or from somewhere, from someone, and then you think that sound is like an echo. Everything comes and gone. Every sound comes and gone. We just uh, number one, we identify that. Number two, then we keep it with our resentment, or our the main thing is according to our grasping. So if you never training about that, and then you heard a single harsh word, you cannot be patient. If you cannot reply directly, but you keep it, it's automatically remain in the mind. Then one day, 1 week, 1 month, it remain, and then it becomes like a ice, and then getting thicker, thicker, right, and thicker, and then one time you try to melt it. It's very difficult. So now, each and every moment, be mindful. Any kind of these uh, unpleasant word or harsh word here, and then let listen from one right ear and let go left ear. Really, they will go. They are like an echo. They are formless. So uh, then harsh word is not harmful words. If you can practice like that, and then slowly you uh, became great patient, great patience practitioner. The patient has so great qualities. Patient, when you be patient, and then of course in the different way, uh, everything possible, the we heard kind of unpleasant things or harsh words, especially harsh words from others, and also some harmful actions. And then we uh, uh, if we being patient, and then the harsh word is not harsh word, because harsh word cannot create any problems in your mind. And if you are a great practitioner, when you heard some harsh word, then you each and every single harsh word, when you heard, then you training these are how to say, you training patient, and then they will cause of improve your tolerance, patience. So then that's when Bodhisattva says in the 37 practice says, nuji tamje rinchin ter tam, nuji harmful things are like precious things. Now this sound is pretty sweet, right? If real happened, and then we think, if real kind of this thing happened, then how it will go, it will go. So here it says all harmful things are like precious things. Oh, in this the 37 practices says that. And we are here, and harmful things also exist, and then it is possible to occur in our life. So then how we can transform then in the as a precious thing? So we have to learn training, especially when you being with colleagues, when you be work together, when you going together, sitting together at that moment, you learn, you get lots of benefit things. If you cannot save lots of money, if you cannot uh, I think that is not big deal. If you change your mind, for example, if you become great patient, then you go back at your home, and then you will become spiritual teacher of your family or your friends, because good attitude has power, bad attitude also has power. So you are the great patient patient person, right? And you are become great uh, compassionate person, and then wherever you go, you can benefit to others. If you have a friend, and through your uh, good attitude, then your friend, if your friend has some bad attitude, you can change. That means your your help is so great. If you have uh, if you take smoking, uh, and then you understand uh, the faults of smoking. For example, if you take or drink, I don't know that smoking, it damage lungs, and it is cause of unhealthy. If you notice and you give up that, and then one time you go with your friend, you met your friend, you being with your friends, and then you explain about that things, and then perhaps your friend also uh, uh, can give up the smoking. So uh, in this moment, uh, we have a great opportunity to learn many kind of the compassion, bodhicitta, and also we have a great opportunity to learn be patient. And we often heard about the faults of these afflictive emotions, and we understand. So, we whether we are become whether we are great practitioners or not, equally we do not need suffering, right? We do not need suffering. That's why if we do not need suffering, then we have to uh, um, learn how to avoid these sufferings, how to purify these sufferings. So when you listen Dharma or Dharma methods, you don't listen only what teachers say, only this word bring, keep that. It's actually very nice, very good, much better than forget. But you heard one words, you analyze. Don't always analyze the, oh, he said that, he said that, other teachers don't say like that. You don't investigate like that. Really, then the Dharma cannot help you, cannot benefit you. There are small benefit to this. Maybe you will not forget. Then how to investigate, how to learn? If you heard one Dharma, for example, I say from here right now, I said jealousy. Jealousy is poisonous, right? If I said that, and then you should think, you should investigate. Not only about jealousy, and the investigator is also, you think, oh, if jealousy arises in my mind, then how affect others? For example, some jealous person did like that, doing like this towards me. At that moment, what happened with you? Are you happy or not? Not happy, right? If angry person does like this and did like this, at that moment, what happened with me? Angry person using single word, which is harsh word. This harsh word harms my mind. That harsh words word made me unhappy, and then you think for others same. That means you investigate how how harms. Or yesterday, I that person using this harsh word, and this harsh word, the our problem is, oh, yesterday that person used a harsh word to me, and then we think that person is so bad person. That's all. And then we keep the angry emotion in the mind. Then slowly angry emotion become resentment. But then this harsh word, how harms to my mind. And then you facing towards others. Even though that if one person using harsh words to you, and if you replied same like that, then what happened with that person? So more investigate, more uh, and not always investigate from teachers what they say. When you read Dharma book, even though the prayers, really, when you read these prayers, for instance, in this open prayer book, the beginning of this open prayer book, it says, all mother thinking beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me. Okay, I don't have enemy, right? If you don't have enemy, then it's this is not your problem. Ostrat who harms me. If nobody harms you directly, then this is not your the this is not related with you, for example. And then those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, then how they create obstacles on your path to liberation and omniscience. This main thing is, okay, the outside things, the externally you don't have the enemies. He is not my enemy. She is not my enemy. That is a good news, good thing. But you think inside, if you are angry somebody, if your anger arises from your mind, that is the obstacle on your path to liberation and omniscience. So then you figure out, do you understand what I mean? You think, oh, I don't have enemy. He always says angry and some enemies and something. So when angry emotion arises in your mind, this is obstacle to your path to liberation and omniscience. So we the Dharma practice has many levels. Some levels are like very higher to realize the nature of our mind and meditation, and those part are very higher level. If you have these realizations, it's wonderful. But you have that realizations, you say, okay, only that, then I no need other things. That is little misunderstand. In the Dharma, Buddha's Dharma said that kunzup dimba taps jurba. That means relative level is method. Even though Shakyamuni Buddha, he completely achieved Dharmakaya, but still he manifests Nirmanakaya. Why? Because for welfare mother sentient beings. So only we achieve Dharmakaya, it will not enough. So we have to help other mother sentient beings. When we help mother sentient beings, we always practice through relative levels. If we are going to practice through relative levels, then if we don't analyze, if we don't investigate something like those compassion activities, bodhicitta activities, and passions and other these perfections, then it's hard to utilize them when we have real facing problems. So that's where we always try to understand Dharma more than teachings. When you receive some teachings, at that time, of course, you listen these teachings, you receive some new vocabularies like Dharma words and new methods. But then you more, how to say, think. That is also a meditation, and you think more, and then your realization will increase. And then finally the benefit is for you. This benefit nobody take away. Nobody takes away. Like that, and then maybe we will stop here. And this I just mentioned about this topic today is sometimes we will benefit through this way of thinkings, because in our daily life, everything's are changing, impermanency. So everything possible to occur. So sometimes it well possible to benefit if you utilize. But then it's your let you analyze more. You think if there's some part seems does not benefit, then you don't want to keep them in your mind. And then some part, if you think it has little benefit, and then let you utilize them in daily life. Okay, thank you very much. We all stop here. O Chan Jo Sen Jo Ren Bo Che Ma Che Ba Nan Ji Jo Je Je Ba Nyan Ba Me Ba 执着。
May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.